Well, you saw that match right there. Unbelievable. Like I said, if it was half as good as the first match, we were in for a treat. You could argue that it was twice as good as the second match. The result not so good for my team, but um, crazy. I think that Maccabi Haifa and Red Star should play every single weekend. Every Saturday from now until May, Red Star should play Maccabi Haifa, whether it's in Israel, Serbia, Georgia, Peru, wherever they should be playing. So usually I like start my post with, the starting 11. Srnic found himself in the starting 11 yet again. I'd like to say that I'm surprised, and I kind of am, because I thought the Sinogo was going to be in that defensive midfield position. In the sense, from what I've read, Kangwa wasn't going to start this match. It was going to be Kanga. And I think the question was, not even a question, I think a lot of people just thought it was going to be Sinogo. I think the odd fan thought, maybe Srnic gets thrown in there just because he's been a player that Stankovic has used time and time again. He starts in the midfield in the pairing with Kanga. That's the only real surprise. 11th minute, Kanga hits the post off a Bukhari kind of setup. I think that Bukhari could have had a shot on goal. I think what happened in Haifa the week previous, where he sailed it over the net, I think that played a little bit of a role. Like, I get that he's a professional, and that's got to be in the back. It's like he's got to get that out of his head. I think it played a role because he remembers what he did last week, and he didn't want to do that again, so he laid it off. Kanga, I think, had a really good shot, and he just hit the post. Pesic's goal, great work from Katai to beat, I think it was Sangrin that he beat. Gets to the post, it gets a little bit sloppy, the ball's in and out, Pesic pounces on it, 1-0 Red Star. I would say up until that part, Red Star had the better chances and most of the ball. That Ivanic shot off Bukhari where he, off a volley, if that goes into the back of the net, you're 2-0 up with, I guess that would have been like the 25th, 26th minute. It would have been very tough for Maccabi, I think, to come back from that at that point. It didn't want to go in. The second goal, Katai Pesic, Ivanic link up was outstanding. Great goal by Ivanic. And Red Star looked like they were well on their way. And, then we get the penalty, which is a clear penalty. Like, there's nothing to discuss here. You can't go up to the ball like with your hand up like that. And it's Srnic. So this is the second match in the last three on the European scene where Srnic has caused a penalty. We remember what he did against Rangers in the first leg, and then he does it here. First of all, I don't understand for the life of me why Srnic is on Pirro at that point in the game, or why he's on him at all, because Milunovic is right there, who's much taller than him. Srnic is up to Pirro's waist, pretty much. And, obviously the penalty's given, saved by Milan Borjan. In Kanga fashion, he takes the ball out. Instead of just clearing it out, he takes it and he tries to deke and he falls over the ball. One thing I'll say about Kanga, what he does a lot, which I absolutely hate in his game, is he looks for the contact and he'll fall before contact is even made. He did that in the earlier in the first half, where it was the Maccabi Haifa captain, I think, that was kind of going into the challenge, and Kanga fell right away. He always does that, and it drives me crazy. Sangrin picks up the ball, has a goal from 25, 30 yards out. It's pretty much the last kick of the half. You figure he's just going to take it and see what happens, and the ball goes in, and you never know. And it's kind of similar to what happened in the match in Haifa, where Pesic deflects the ball, Cohn goes one way, the ball goes the other way. Kind of helpless feeling. What I noticed at halftime right away is after that goal went in, you would have thought that it was the end of the match and that Red Star had lost the match. Everyone was kind of down on themselves, and I thought to myself, I hope this isn't what is going to happen in the second half. I hope we come out strong. We didn't come out strong at all. I think Maccabi Haifa dictated the tempo in the second half. Ali Mohammed, once again, was excellent. I think Haziza was kept under control, and so was Sharif for most of the match. But I think Ali Mohammed, exceptional. Up there for player of the match, for sure. And yeah, what are you going to say? 65th minute, players are already dead tired. I think we're the only time I've really noticed this is when we've played in Champions League against far superior teams. The team is very poorly conditioned, from what I see. Srnic had his hands on his knees in like the 62nd minute. At that point, you had to get him out. You had to get him out at that point. Katai was walking. Ivanic still gave it his all as much as he could. Kangwa didn't really make a difference when he came on. But it's just poor conditioning. Maccabi Haifa looked like they could have played 3 more matches after this one was done. I mean, and that's something that needs to be worked on. Like, what would have happened if we made Champions League and we're facing teams like PSG and Manchester City who are going to run us off the pitch? You can't be dead tired in the 60th minute. And to make things worse, Rodic goes off. To be fair, he already had a yellow card, and I think he was injured as well. But we signed the gentleman from Georgia. I forget his name right now. Like, why isn't he on the bench? Unless he's not allowed to play yet because he partook in Europa League qualifying or something like that. Unless that's the case, you don't have another defender out there. And now you're moving Srnic, a guy who's already tired, to the left back position. And there was one play where Haziza completely beat him. And I think he tried to cross the ball and Boran ended up saving it. But it's stuff like that that'll cost you a match. And the substitutions is still something that Dejan Stankovic hasn't figured out. And he's been on the bench for, I think, 2.5 years now. And he's yet to figure it out. The substitutions need a lot of work. The own goal came in at a perfect time for Maccabi Haifa. Their first goal came right on time at the end of the first half, and the second goal comes pretty much in added time in the 90th minute. Pavkov, just tries to kind of get his foot on the ball and directs it into his own net. Play before that, I think Bojan did a poor job of sending the ball to Mirko Ivanic. I think he gave him too much of an outlet where Ivanic has to chase the ball and commit the foul. With that being said, the free kick was, there was no Maccabi Haifa player anywhere near the ball. And Pavkov, obviously, with the fans there and everyone chanting, and it's very difficult to hear. Like, I don't blame him. He's going to clear the ball, which is something that I think a lot of players would do. And, he catches it and he goes right into the top corner with nothing Bojan can do with it. We still had chances in the last 2 minutes, which is crazy. We put the pressure on a little bit more. And, yeah, Katai I don't think was great in the second half. Like I said, a lot of players were dead in the 62nd, 63rd minute. I think he was one of them. I think Stankovic took a lot of criticism with taking him off in the 55th minute, where he still had a lot to offer. And I think that's why he kept him in the match, which I think is the right decision. You want to lose with your best players on the pitch. I'm not losing with Mirko Ivanic and Alexander Katai off the pitch. That's just not happening. Even though we didn't really lose, we drew. I think Stankovic is going to have some questions to answer about Srnic. Like I said, this is the second time in the last 3 European matches where he's committed a foul or committed a penalty that cost us big time. And I think that's a question that's going to need answering. A lot of people, like I said, thought Sanogo was going to start, which I think would have been the right option, I personally. Like I said, Ali Muhammad, again, outstanding. Sherian and Haziz were I think, under control for most of the match. Pirot was a big body again. The only thing I'll say about Pirot is he gets away with a lot. Like, he does a lot of pulling and pushing, and fouls never seem to be called on him. But, if they're not going to call it, keep doing it, obviously. Why would I stop doing something if they're not rewarding the other team? So, 8 million spent this transfer window. Europa League, which isn't, again, it's not a bad thing. Second best competition apart from the Champions League. Would I love Champions League? Yes, but again, you run into these teams that are going to run you off the pitch. You're going to score 6 or 7 goals on you. I think financially, Champions League is obviously far superior than Europa League. But again, I wish Maccabi Haifa all the best. I think they're a very good team, very organized. The transition is very quick. I think they have some questions at the back and the back four, and I don't think their goalkeeping is that great. There was a bunch of shots where Cohen had bobbled them, and he's lucky that he didn't get far enough to a Red Star player to where you could kind of pounce on him and score. That last possession, whatever happened on that, when Bojan crossed the ball and Cohen fell over the defender, I don't know what Mirko Ivanic is doing there. I don't know if he's doing the sportsmanship thing where he just kind of kicks the ball. But you have to have a goal in net. It's the referee's job to blow the whistle if the goalkeeper is hurt. Your job is to score, and then later, whatever happens after that, let them figure it out. But if the referee doesn't blow the whistle, then it's a play on. So I really didn't like how that was handled. I think it was a very interesting match for Mirko Ivanic. I think he had moments of brilliance, and then he had 2 or 3 turnovers that were crucial. I have never seen him do any of that stuff since he's been a Red Star. Like the giveaway he had in the first half, just in his own 18-yard box, criminal. You can't do that. I think there was a pass that he gave right into the left back's feet. I forget he's the French international. I forget his name, Corneau or something like that. And Milan Borjan made an excellent stop, but he was doing stuff that was very uncharacteristic, and I think it's characteristics of a player who's very tired, and that's kind of what happens. Sometimes you need to put a little bit of more effort onto a ball, especially when you're tired. But yeah, that doesn't take away from what Maccabi Haifa did. Again, I wish them all the best in Champions League. We're off to Europa League, where we await who we play, and yeah, that's disappointing and a lot of money spent on transfers. And we don't get to that goal where we wanted to get to, and that's Champions League.